Hey guys, it's Stacy from My Petite Garden. Thank you so much for tuning in today. So this video, I'm going to try to talk to you guys a little bit about semi-hydro. Just a disclaimer, I am not an expert on semi-hydro or growing plants in LECA. I started converting my plants last year, and so far it's been working out pretty good for me. And this is the way that I do semi-hydro. I know that there are many different ways you can go about it, so hopefully you'll find this somewhat helpful. You don't have to do everything exactly the way I do it, but this is just the way that has worked for me. So I hope you guys enjoy this, and as always, thank you so much for watching, and please remember to comment, like, and subscribe, and let's get into the video.
Alright, so let's start off by showing you guys some of the plants that I currently have in semi-hydro. So in these next few clips, you'll just see some of my plants that are in either glass jars or net pots. Those are the two types of vessels that I use for semi-hydro. They both have its pros and cons, but I don't really have a preference one over the other. They both work really well for me. Now with glass vessels, you'll notice that you can see the water reservoir levels, so that's a pro. So you know how much water is left and you can just fill it up. However, when it comes to cleaning your LECA, you'll have to probably take all of your LECA balls out and then flush it or clean it. With net pots, the good thing is when it comes to cleaning, it's pretty easy. You just have to take the net pot out of the cache pot and just rinse it out like that. And the con with a net pot is that you can't see right away how much water is left in the water reservoir in your cache pot. So you're gonna have to probably lift up your net pot just to see how much water is left and if it needs to be refilled. But both are great options. I use both equally as much. And in terms of the type of plants that I convert into semi-hydro, I started off with mostly my aeroids, just because they have thicker roots, and I personally feel like the plants that have thicker root systems tend to convert easier and they do a lot better in semi-hydro. And recently I started converting some of my Hoyas, and with Hoyas, their root systems are a bit more shallow and the roots are a lot finer. So I waited a bit before I started converting my Hoyas. I just want to make sure I have enough experience with semi-hydro to be comfortable converting them, and so far they're doing well. So they're doing well, and I'm just going to keep an eye on them and see how it goes from here. This Albal Monstera and the Philodendron Burl Marks Variegata that you saw in the previous clip are going to be two plants that we'll be repotting in this video. They're both in net pots, but they both need to be up-potted pretty badly. Their roots are growing out of their net pots, and it's time we repot them, and we can do it together here. So here are the two pots that we're going to be using today for the repotting of the two plants. One is a net pot with its cache pot, and then the other is a glass jar. So I figured this would be a good chance for us to see how I pot up my plants in the two different types of containers.
To those men who are going into the hottest spots.
So we're just going to get started with setting up for our repotting. With LECA, it's a lot more clean in terms of repotting. There's no soil to be messed around with. And for me personally, I like to just keep things as simple as possible. So here we're going to just take the two plants that we are going to repot. We're going to pull it out of its current net pot, and you'll see that the root system is really robust and it's doing really well. And that's also something I noticed with my plants growing in semi-hydro, is that the root system tends to grow really well and really strong. So that is definitely one of the pros of growing in semi-hydro. And you'll see in this clip that I do reuse the LECA that they were originally in, mainly because they're both doing really well. and there are no issues, no pests, nothing like that. And I didn't repot these too long ago, so I feel comfortable reusing the LECA. But if you're not comfortable with that, you can definitely use new LECA or clean them, boil them, rinse them, however you want to do it. That's totally up to you. And you'll see the root system in my Monstera is really strong. This came to me as an unrooted cutting, and now the root system is absolutely amazing. And the way that I like to pot up my plants when it comes to semi-hydro, no matter what container I'm using, I will pot up about a third way up, filled with LECA, before I put the plant in. That way I kind of have a buffer level between the plant's root system and the water reservoir. That way the plants are not constantly sitting in water and it could cause root rot. So you'll see here that I will put the LECA on the bottom of the pot first,
But if this brings you just a little closer
and then I situate the plant inside,
to those men who are going
and then just backfill it as you would if you were potting up with soil until the plant is situated nicely and secured.
I hope that it will help you to do a better job. Better job.
With the glass jar, it is the same concept. You're just going to fill up the bottom about a third way up, and then I'm going to place the plant in there and then backfill it. Now let's talk a little bit about nutrients. With LECA, there is absolutely no nutrients, so you're going to have to supplement it. I know some people tend to do a pH testing of the water. I personally have never done that, and I don't think I will anytime soon, just because what I've been doing now has been working. I like to keep things as simple as possible, because if I don't, I know I'm not going to be able to keep up with it. So I use this General Hydroponics Maxi Grow fertilizer about every other watering. So it's a water soluble, and I just fill up the water reservoir with the water and this fertilizer mixed in, and that's really it. I don't do anything else. I know some people do pH testing. I don't do it, but I'm not saying you shouldn't. It's just my approach to it is what it is. I've never done it. I don't think I will, and it's worked out fine for me. But that's totally up to you. I don't have any experience with that, so I can't really comment on it. But I'm sure there's a lot of videos and information out there if you just kind of searched around for it. So for me, I just use this one type of nutrient for my plants, and they seem to like it, and they're doing fairly well in it. So I'm going to keep my routine for semi-hydro the way it is. So I'm just gonna water the LECA about the third way up, where I have that little buffer level so that my plants will not be sitting in water. Same with a net pot. Only difference here is you can't really see the water levels, so you just have to water, check the water reservoir in your cache pot. And then if it's too little, you can fill it up a little bit more, or if it's too much, you can pour some out. And that's really it.
Better job.
Alright, so this little part here is just a bonus clip of me repotting my philodendron ring of fire. It was one of my first plants that I converted to semi-hydro, and it's been doing so well. I've had to repot this guy quite a few times now because of how fast it grows in semi-hydro. So this is me up-potting it into a larger glass container. Same process, very simple. Just fill it a third way up with LECA, put the plant in, backfill it with more LECA, and the feeding schedule in terms of nutrients is the exact same as I mentioned before. So I hope you guys really give this a try if you've been wanting to. I know a lot of people are hesitant to convert any of their plants. Start slow, start with a plant that you won't be heartbroken if it doesn't do well in semi-hydro, and then go from there. I would say don't convert a lot of plants at once, just do it slowly. And once you feel comfortable enough, then you can convert more plants and maybe more of your more precious plants. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you do give it a go. If you do, I would love to see how your plants turned out.
Alright guys, so that's all. I hope you guys found that helpful. If you have any more questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I'll try my best to answer them for you guys. Otherwise, see you guys in the next video, and again, thank you guys so much for watching, and please remember to comment, like, and subscribe. Bye!